Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the VicaraGaming Open semi-finals. We have Elite Players in Combat playing up against Bronze, but now both of these teams have already qualified for the Invitational, and now it is all playing for respect, for honor, and for that first place prize. Joining me today, obviously, my name's Duke, and joining me will be Sick. How are you doing, man?
Oh, hello. I'm doing really great. I recovered from my sickness, and I feel really great now. And I'm ready to cast this semi-finals here. I'm really happy to see this game going on now.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly looking forward to myself. I have seen some absolutely amazing things coming from Bronze, and in Epic's group, I think both of these teams took their quarterfinals 2-0. And from Elite Players in Combat, we saw possibly one of the best lone druids that I have seen in non-professional play in quite some time.
Okay. Well,
it was spectacular, I have to say.
That sounds great. I didn't see the quarterfinals, of course, but right now I'm really excited to see what's gonna come out of these teams. We go with the same bans with every tournament right now. We have this Mirana ban always getting rid in the first banning phase. Then we have this Bad Rider always very high valued, and the Doom, of course, which is such a great team fight tool to just take out one hero for basically the entire team fight. And of course the Invoker who can break down every team fight with just his ability to interrupt everyone with the Tornado, with the MP, getting the carry out of mana, of course, and the high damage output, the disarm, the cold snap. There's so much utility out of this hero, so it's a really nice pen.
This is something I've not seen.
The Tidehunter first pick.
Radiant team.
Yeah.
It's an extremely strong hero right now, and people tend to pick him again. Maybe not as a first pick material here, but maybe they evolve some strategy they like to play with Tidehunter, and I are certainly sure that they get this core hero because they need it so much for their strategy. And it's really a great pickup. It's a nice initiator for the team fight. Teamfights, it can control a lane. It has this minus armor, this minus damage, and it's very tanky after all.
Yeah, especially that.
5 seconds
especially
remaining.
with the is it minus 60% at the moment?
Reserve
yes,
time.
it is.
That's just, is it so much damage reduction for 6 seconds?
Yes, that's
on a
just
4-second cooldown.
Yeah, it's really huge, especially if the carry, like in the pre-mid game stages or the mid game stage, if the carry is a little bit denied and doesn't have his BKB yet, it's just dragging so much damage out of this carry. And of course we get the pickup of the Rubik to just steal this Ravage, maybe even just steal the Gush, or the Anchor Smash, as you said before, because Tidehunter offers such great variety of skills, which are of course great to steal.
Yeah, and we did get a Viper pickup by Epic second, and I have to say, I wouldn't be surprised to see it actually go off lane or in the one position. Sarcastic Sapkio is their mid player, and he really enjoys the sort of flashy mids, like your Invoker, so your Storm Spirit, and your sort of heroes like Puck. So I would be surprised to see him on a more static hero such as the Viper. Obviously, the teams at these levels really can just switch on their aggressiveness, passiveness, like roam, gank, or just sort of hard farm, on a button. Really, there's so much adaptability with these teams.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And with the Viper, it's always a great pickup for having this a little bit tankier carry, which of course isn't as valuable as a, let's say, Faceless Void or Anti-Mage in the super late game, but crashing into the mid game with a mech and maybe another core item, it's gonna be a really pain for Bronx here.
Radiant team ban.
And now we get the Tidehunter Treant. This is just absolute. Their team fight currently is just so disgusting.
Yes, if they get some more damage here, they're looking to take the early fights as starting with Tidehunter level 6, they're gonna take a fight, and as soon as this Trend Protector support is gonna be up on level 6, the Tidehunter Ravage is up again, and then they look to take another fight. And of course you wanna ban out something like Panda and AA here, because they offer this counter aggression in these fights in the mid game. And especially Panda with his Drunken Haze is really painful for the Viper, because you are relying on hitting, of course, because that's basically everything you can do with that hero. And if you're missing all the time, it's not gonna help you.
Radiant team pick.
And there comes your Lone Raid pick, which you anticipated very long.
Yeah, he just played amazingly on it. His denials were perfect. He was actually, I think, he was playing up against a Bat Rider, and the Bat Rider did not get, I don't think, got a single last hit through the first sort of 2-3 minutes, and then just went into the jungle because it was absolutely perfect play coming out of SoSad.
Okay, that sounds great. And
hopefully he won't let me down.
Hopefully not.
I have really bigged him up.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of time to consider their third pick here in this stage, and I think they're searching for another support right now, because they don't want to give up their plan right now. Like, not give up, but show the plan, and try to find a support that is teamfight worthy, or maybe just even a Maiden, which is always a very good pickup here, because it gives that mana regen in the early game for even the Tidehunter who needs to use his Anchor Smash a lot if he wants to go for the Ancients, or if he wants to stay in the lane and try to harass out the carry if it's a melee carry. They also need that mana, and Maiden offers a great tool of damage in the early to mid game. Of course, in the late game you only have that freezing field, which can be super good if you place yourself in a very good position, but in the late game, of course, he falls off a little bit.
The thing is, you have to say is that with a Tidehunter plus a Dream Protector, Chris the Maiden's gonna get off that freezing field. And also, obviously, with the Arcane Ori, also helps the Dream Protector, but they are going to go for the Dazzle. So now we've got another massive ultimate to throw into the mix.
Dire team pick.
Yes, certainly true. And now they could even just go for the Gyro here, Gyrocopter.
Exactly what I was thinking, Gyrocopter. You get them all locked down for multiple. I think at max level, they're going to be locked down for 2.77 plus 4.5. There is a 7-second lockdown.
Yes.
During which, obviously, you've got the minus armor coming out from the weave. You've got the cooldown smashing down on everyone, and then flat cannon just tearing away at all these heroes.
5 seconds remaining.
Yes, that's true, but we should not count out this ElitePlayersInCombat right now, because Team Epic is really looking to get the pick of heroes. They don't want to really take the fight head on. They try to maybe get some split pushing going with that Lone Raid, while the Lich, Viper, Rubik, and plus another really good mid hero evolves, and just try to make some pick-offs happening apart from the Dazzle, because wherever this Dazzle is, there's not gonna die someone. And yes, the Gyrocopter, as called, it's a really nice pickup here. They really have a nice draft right now.
Yeah, very, very solid.
10 seconds remaining.
The thing is, what often people say when you pick up a Tidehunter, you are sort of a one-trick wonder. It is a 150-second cooldown. But now they've got the backup of the Treant Protector with his 70-second cooldown. It's a perfect balance between these two heroes. They work so well together. But the Treant can also make a nice initiation by himself, and the Tidehunter, obviously, with his Anchor Smash, could just jump onto the Bear, who won't have a BKB for a very long time, reduce his damage.
Yes.
And the Anchor Smash does work on the Bear, doesn't it?
Definitely. It's a really good defending tool, because you're looking into sending this Bear alone into the tower and just chop away the towers slowly. And with that Tidehunter just standing there, Anchor Smashing it whenever it comes, it's gonna really take a lot of this pushing power away. But you cannot really dedicate the Tidehunter here to just always be there where the Lone Raid is, because you need that Tidehunter for the team fight, and the Lone Raid is gonna be looking to split push somewhere else. And without that Tidehunter, the team fight obviously just goes a little bit down by Bronx. They still have a lot of team fight potential here, but that Tidehunter is of course a key part to that.
Yeah, definitely. I am just already, just of these 4 picks, looking forward to the game. It doesn't matter what these final picks are for me.
Well,
unless it's a meepo, then I think my excitement will increase by at least 15%. Sorry, 1500%.
Okay. I think Team Epic is looking to get a some burst heavy mid hero now, like Quap or even maybe OD, which is great in just taking out someone for the duration of the team fight. Something really burst heavy is... Oh.
Wow.
Okay, that's a really weird pickup. That mixes up the lanes. It calls for a tri-lane, aggressive tri-lane with the Juggernaut, Lich, Rubik, Viper on safe lane and Lone Druid mid.
This could be really... I've got to say I'm looking forward to this already.
Oh no, wait.
I never expected that to come out of this. Bronze DotA, they banned out the Puck expecting that sort of pick.
Yes.
We were going along the same lines, but a Juggernaut really throwing a spanner in the works.
Yes, and I think it's gonna be the Lone Druid on the safe lane, the Viper in the mid, and an aggressive tri-lane consisting of Juggernaut, Lich, and Rubik here.
Tinker!
Oh, that's a great pickup here. Because that just stops that bear right away. If he wants to push somewhere, there's gonna be the Tinker just marching away the creep wave, lasering the bear, and just teleporting back to the team fight. That's a really nice pickup here to just make this epic hero lineup really hard to execute.
Sapkyo is their mid player.
Okay.
Now I don't know if he's like a sort of a specialized Juggernaut player, but we could actually be seeing a Juggernaut mid.
I've seen this work out quite a lot. If you're able to get your early bottle up, this Juggernaut is just pushing away your creep wave very hard, and then secures a rune, just comes back to mid Fury again, you know, just always pushing the lane out. And this might just work really well.
Yeah, and especially versus the Tinker, he can do that quite well. And I'd just like to say, I have seen, I've actually heard about Steve's Tinker before. It is, along with Invoker, like known as his best hero.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to seeing this. But we will start by introducing the team of Bronze. First off, we have Mike playing on the Dazzle. We have the stand-in Dread Knight taking up the Treant Protector. We have Tom onto the Gyrocopter, Steve onto the Tinker, aforementioned, and Jonal Biceps onto the Tidehunter.
Well, he certainly has biceps.
And on the flip side, for Elite Players in Combat, we have Meth onto the Lich, the stand-in Kaysor onto the Viper, Arzepa onto the Rubik, our mid-Juggernaut, played by Sarcastic Sapkyo, and last but not least, the man himself, So Sad, taking up his Lone Druid.
And this is gonna be really good, because this Juggernaut already got pulled some tangos, and he knows he wants to get that early bottle, so he can control that mid lane very hard. And with that Tidehunter actually playing against the Lone Druid, I think it's actually not even that much in favor for the Lone Druid, because Tidehunter is just as strong hero as he is right now. And we're gonna have some eyes on that top lane for sure, because there's gonna happen all the action right now. Especially with that aggressive lane, Viper, Rubik, Lich, it's denying the experience. It has always that potential to just initiate, but then we have that Dazzle Grave and the high damage output by the Rocket Barrage with that Gyrocopter. And of course the Treant Protector can always like save someone even after the Grave, and it's always gonna be a very defensive lane up here, but they have the possibility to just re-engage as soon as the enemy blew out all his skills, of course.
Just something to pick up very, very quickly. The Treant has taken Leech Seed first and got boots.
So they are looking to aggress this right now, and I think if they really get a good initiation with that boots on that Treant, I think this Dazzle might just look into skilling the heal first and not the Grave. Depending on the situation, of course. He's gonna sit on his unselected skill for quite a while until he realizes what he needs right now.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. Just having that boots on the tree, it means he's just able to run up with that 85 damage and start just beating away, punching down on these heroes with that big tree of a hand. And already we just see the Juggernaut just spinning onto the Tinker. He only had a salve first, so he's gonna have to pop that immediately. Now he's not gonna have any regen, and the bottle is already gonna be coming out for the Juggernaut.
Yes, and that's what I was talking about when I said he needs that bottle, and as soon as he has that bottle, he's gonna create so much pressure onto this Tinker. And I'm really looking forward to this lane, and actually looking forward to every and each of these lanes, because on the bottom lane we have this Tidehunter Lone Druid lineup, which is also quite strong for both sides, because Tidehunter is as strong as he is right now, and this Lone Druid always has been a danger.
Yeah, and the bear already at 43 minus 25 damage, obviously just for that short duration, but that really can sort of put hindrance on the last hitting potential. And just like you're saying, the Juggernaut, he just goes, spins. Actually, he's going to die. He might die for the first punch. Oh, the bottle charge is going to keep him just alive. He's going to pop the healing ward, and he's going to be able to get away. Wow, that was really throwing caution to the winds.
That's just a little bit of overextension already can cost you your life, of course, because Juggernaut is an agility hero as it is, and he's going to be nuked down quite heavily if this Tinker goes for this nuke build, because right after the spin, this Juggernaut is without protection, and the Sealing Ward is not going to heal the nuke damage out of this Tinker as fast as you probably wishes.
And he does actually get an invisibility rune, so he's going to look to try and get some harassment onto Steve in this mid lane.
Yeah, but he knows. There was a ward spotting this.
Oh yeah, of course.
Denied!
And in this top lane, this Viper's already...
Okay, the Lich goes onto the Lich, but there's no one, no other heroes in close proximity, so it's just going to be a walk away there. They didn't have the poison touch just to go throw it out straight away. The Brutes of the Tree, and sort of putting him so far ahead that the other heroes can't actually get close to be able to do anything. And this tri-lane is working magnificently. Gyrocopter, one last hit. No, sorry, 0 last hit, 1 deny.
Yes, he's completely denied on this top lane because of the strength of the Viper, of course. And with Dazzle and Trent, you do not really have the damage output to just contest your enemy team in that situation. And
at this bottom lane, just the Spirit Bread taking so much damage, already have to be resummoned by the Lone Druid. Lone Druid is getting the denies up against the Tidehunter and leading on the last hits, but still a fantastic job being done by the Tidehunter, and they are going to end up with similar farm.
It's hard to believe that after this much action there's not a single kill has happened yet, but there's certainly gonna start some action soon.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, regarding the other lanes, even with the Juggernaut up against the Tinker, there's still tree and armor, and the same with the Tidehunter being extremely tanky, getting those 2 levels in Kraken Shell and the Ankle Smash plus tree and armor. He should never die. Actually, the Tangle is latched, and they're just going to try and harass him back, force him to use that salve.
This Gyrocopter...
No, he's going to walk into a regeneration rune.
That's quite fortunate to find in this position.
Regeneration.
And we have the spin going on again, just clearing out that creep wave, getting his free farm up.
He needs to be careful. First blood, the rocket is going to fly out, and that is going to be the first blood by the Tinker. And like you said, he's always vulnerable after that spin ends from the nukes from Tinker. So there we do see our first blood. Now we've got the Boots plus Soul Ring up for the Tinker, so he's going to be able to do pretty much anything he wants in this lane.
If yet another entangle on the bot lane, and this Tidehunter is fed up. He's trying to go for that Lone Druid right now and trying to chase him down, but with that bear, with the Orb of Venom, you cannot really chase down anyone.
Yeah,
and
I was just going to say, just definitely with the Orb of Venom, and quite a few entangles coming out of slow side. It's actually been quite lucky on this front.
Well, what's really worrying for Bronx right now is that top lane being totally denied. Even the small camp pull is contested by this Radiant team right now, and Epic is really taking control of this top lane. And
you can see it in the last hits chart. We've got Tinker leading, but then followed by Viper, Lone Druid, Juggernaut.
Yes, and it's really telling a story about this top lane already, because they had this big camp pool for the Radiant and they contested the small camp pool from the Dire, so they're really looking into a big advantage coming out of this lane at some point. But if you're sitting on an aggressive trial, of course, you're usually trying to get some kills up. It's not needed, of course, but if you get 2 or 3 kills up, you definitely can stamp yourself as I won this lane.
The thing is, I think what they're playing off the fact is that even they've blocked up the small camp, so there's not going to be any pulling coming out of the Dire heroes, and they have a Lich. So even if they don't get kills, they are still going to take the XP advantage. They're going to take the gold advantage because of all the denies that they're getting. So all in all, this, even if they don't get a kill in this lane, they still have they have very cleanly won this.
Yes, of course. I just talked about how much advantage.
And then we see the Juggernaut just diving on with the Omni Slash. Now it's going to spin onto the Tinker. He's going to end up falling. And are we going to see a TP rotation just trying to pick him off? No, we're not. They really can't afford to leave this gyro. If any hero from this top TP'd into the mid, that would have been a... Oh, we're actually going to see initiation on top. Where is the rest of... Ruben just going absolutely mad while the Lich and Viper were back at the creeps farming. You know what, at bottom we do see the Treant Armor actually going on to... Oh, this could be a kill. The Entangle does land onto the Lone Druid. One more hit from both the Bear and the Hero. Actually got another Entangle just to boot. And that's actually going to be a second kill for Epic. Just those Entangles. I think actually got one to begin with, and then one just to mock him as he was dying.
And this Juggernaut finds himself under a lot of pressure in mid now, because this Tinker, finally with his Soul Ring, is gonna look to pile up the pressure here. And this small camp...
They are trying to contest the small camp. But another Sentry Ward down in there, really trying to keep on the ball with this camp, not let Bronze get anything.
And I think this Tidehunter is really gonna get fed up.
To the Dazzle. Not that, don't want to use all the spells on him straight away, but actually they're now going to go on to the Gyrocopter. They wasted Shallow Grave. Now they can actually pick him off anyway, and if they're not careful, the Treant will fall down as well. We've got the Frost Nova there, and now the damage coming out from the Viper. We have a double kill on the Viper on this top lane. We are going to see a kill on the Viper from the Tinker, who rotated up, now has that invasion, is going to be able to pick off the Rubik. There is no escape for him. The Lich is going to go back into the lane.
He does not have a TP, so there is no coming out of this for this Rubik.
He's still won't be able to escape from this. The Poison Touch is enough, and the thing is just going to get into laser and get that second kill. Help him on his way to his bots.
Yes, and even though they got a great pick off there, it's always like these kills all went into the pockets of this Tinker, and this Tinker is really gonna pile up the pressure as soon as he has this boost of travel. And this Titan is really getting fed up by this entangles on the bot lane, because he had to go back, and it was a really great call for that initiation on top by that Lone Druid. He said, okay guys, roof armor is used bottom, so you can engage top. There's like one defensive skill less, and they right away moved in then.
Yeah, it was really smart. We're actually going to see a smoke coming out from the level 2 Treant at this bottom lane, and I have to say, it's like actually they might be able to pick him off. Actually no, that's quite tricky, I'll be honest. They will need to Ravage immediately, but the Orb of Venom already slowing down the Tidehunter. That is a wasted smoke coming out of the Treant. And now an Entangle to boot. Oh, I told you, this guy...
He's Iron Jesus.
Yeah, it takes a true master to be able to get all these tangles. And are we going to get another Entangle onto the Tidehunter? No, we're not. Not right now, at least. In the mid lane, however... The Juggernaut keeping up with his last hit, actually still behind the Tinker, but really from where the back of that was going, he's not doing too badly.
Especially now with that ultimate up on this Juggernaut, it's always a danger for this Tinker, because you're saving up for your boost of travel and you're gonna sit on low weight.
And that's also the Tidehunter gone back again, but he's gonna look to TP top to defend this tower. And same with the Gyro. Gyro doesn't have his cooldown, however, really does want that.
Yes, with that cooldown you can finally start that teamfight aggression, what they were looking for through this draft. This Devil is actually walking quite right out of position here, and he's gonna find himself in a bad spot and needs some TP support coming in there by this Tidehunter, and he's looking to Ravage. He wants to kill that Viper. He's fed up with this game, and he's gonna Ravage and use his Anchor Smash, and the Rubik Lift stops him from coming back.
Just misses the Gyrocopter. The rocket is going out onto the Viper, but he's fast enough to move away, and that's just how tanky he is. And that's, you're looking at the Tidehunter. He just popped Ravage for that.
Yes, he's really angry, I think.
And he just what's going to happen at this bottom tower.
Exactly, there's this Lone Druid always pressuring tower when there's a teamfight happening somewhere, and he's not gonna stop until he's knocking at the base. And even then, if the heroes of Bronze are out of position,
is going real ham into the
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle
Just
tower
an
is under
incredible
attack.
level of bravery coming out of the Juggernaut in this situation. Leechseed actually is going to hit him from the tree,
Dire's
but
bottom
he is
tower
way
has
away from this
fallen.
with his face beard, able to
Radiant's
keep up his
middle
movement
tower
speed.
is under attack.
Blood Druid did take down the bottom, but now he's
Dire's
into the
bottom
Ancients
tower
and
is
needs to be
under attack.
careful. Actually, he is in that bear form, so completely fine. They don't have enough damage for 1400 life. And while they were all rotating to try and deal with the Juggernaut pushing it into the mid and try and rotate to get the Lone Druid, they took down this top tier 1.
So they got...
And now they're going to smoke into the Dazzle. He's going to fall down very, very quickly, even with the Grave. Not even able to get it off. And now that's another pickup for them. Now they're going to rotate into this mid, try and pick off that Tinker, who's 10 gold away from his boots of travel.
Yeah, he's gonna get it for sure with his March now. Gonna start defending this lane and gonna be able to TP back and forth. But this Juggernaut really goes ham right now and tries to get this ulti off on this Tinker, but it's not quite in range. And he's really gonna suffer from that. I think he has to move back.
Yeah, he has to move back completely, pop off that ward, and get himself back up to capacity.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, we have this Gyrocopter now moving bottom because he really needs some farm. And he really struggled on that top lane, so he's gonna try to advance through this bottom lane. But as soon as this Spirit Bear is back, this Lone Druid is gonna pressure the Gyrocopter.
Oh, the first hit in Tangle! And then Gyrocopter is not liking his chances right now. The Treant Armor is going to keep him alive, but he just can't get any farm. He's got Power Tread and a Ring of Basilius. Meanwhile, the Viper has Power Tread, Basilius, and a full Mechanism.
We're looking at a 6k gold lead out of Epic already, and this team is really living up to their promises right now. They know exactly what they want to do with their draft, and they executed it quite perfectly here.
And look at what the Lone Druid is doing. He's farming up just with his hero, and he's stacking the camps with his bear.
Dire's bottom tower.
Yes,
And
he's
now,
under
as soon
attack.
as they get to the tower, pull back in the bear and just immediately go for it.
And this Tinker needs to spend a lot of time defending against this Lone Druid all the time. But it's gonna help him out, of course, because this Lone Druid is always gonna push into a safe Dire zone, and Tinker is gonna be able to capitalize on it. This Juggernaut is up to something fishy here.
And once again, another entangle, and there's the Juggernaut jumping into the Tinker with the haste rune. Was able to get in close, not enough to be able to pick him off, fortunately, but they did actually end up blowing the cooldown, just trying to get the Gyrocopter away. The Tinker had to leave.
Radiant's
Now they've
middle
picked up
tower
the
is under
Tidehunter.
attack.
He'll need to Ravage very soon. Ruby needs to be careful, obviously. He doesn't have that the spell steal up anymore.
But with that Tinker Boots of Travel up, there's always this danger for the Radiant team. If they did not pick off the Tinker, he's gonna come back and he's gonna have a massive damage amount coming out of him.
Yeah, also, we are looking at 3,000 gold up onto this Lone Druid. So he's going to be picking up his relic fairly soon. Also, we do have the Drum of Endurance coming down for the Juggernaut. And the farm is just, like you said, there was a 6k gold advantage. And it's leveled out at the moment as they're not able to take towers. The Gush goes out as the Juggernaut into the mid lane, but they really don't have any follow-up. They can't do anything to him as soon as he spins. Where is the damage coming from right now? A
Dire's
Gyrocopter
bottom
with
tower
power
is
treads?
under attack.
I don't think so.
Yes, exactly, and that's a huge problem for the Dire right now. They do not know how to contest this Viper with a mech, this Lone Druid tanking already, and this Juggernaut being quite invulnerable to them while he spins. And the only way to get rid of this Juggernaut in his spin is using the Overgrowth, but then you still need the damage output afterwards, after this other Overgrowth, to actually achieve something. And this Gyrocopter is actually in real danger. They're gonna be found by this Lone Druid, and with the Entangle, I think this Gyrocopter is gonna fall. Having the Trend Armor now up, he might get away because of a rocket onto this bear.
Yeah, and the Dazzle had to TP in. But meanwhile, the Juggernaut was pushing in the mid lane. Viper, a Lich, and Rubik are all pushing in the bottom lane. All of the heroes went to mid to try and deal with that. The Tinker's now TPing bot, but he has to be careful. There's only been one level of march. They're still going to be able to get some decent tower damage.
Tower is under attack.
And the Juggernaut's just going to be able to go back to mid lane to pressure that.
But
the
we haven't...
Tidehunter is coming in with an Invis rune. It wasn't scouted. So this is the potential for them to be able to pick up a few kills.
Yes, this might be the comeback Ravage here. For the Tinker is TPing in now, and the Ravage pops out with the Gush and the Anchor Smash.
Oh, and there we go, the Chain Frost. And it's going to start bouncing between the Tinker and the Gyrocopter. They need to split up very quickly. They're able to pick off the Lich. But the other heroes are playing back. The Rubik actually is able to pick up the Tidehunter. This is not how this fight was supposed to go.
They had a free initiation with that Tidehunter, with the Ravage hitting 3 people there, and they just... They get 1 kill out of it, and like 1 death. And meanwhile this Lone Druid is just looking to pressure this top tower, and this Juggernaut is pressuring them in the mid tower. They're really having some issues with their possibility to defend right now.
Yep. And they did have to send out the Tinker to defend this top tower, but it was taken down a little bit. Obviously, the Treant will be able to heal all that up. The Lone Druid was still getting farmed during that time. The Juggernaut got the mid tower down.
And now they just got the bot tower.
Juggernaut's looking to go pick off the Tinker.
And that's gonna
phase boots, move in, pop that drum, and he's just going to be able to just swipe, and dead.
Yes, and they definitely need some
they're
vision.
actually making an engagement at bottom. They are going to be able to pick off the Lich, but the Viper's just killing the Gyrocopter, and there's nothing they can do about it. They still have the mechanism to try and help him. The Rubik is close by. He has to heal. Where is the stuns? There are no stuns to get rid of that to stop the TP, and now the Viper's just walking away. Not the Viper, the Rubik is walking away. So they lost a tower. They kill a Lich.
And trade this basically for the Tinker, and it's really dicey for Bronx right now. They're sitting on 2 towers, outer towers left, against 0. They didn't put a single point of damage on the bottom tower. The mid tower is half, and the top tower is basically full. And they really need to get some gold in, because their supports are struggling so hard warding right now. They don't find the farm for this, and the Deathel picked up some wards right now, and they really need that vision. It's so important to find that Lone Druid farming in their own woods, to see this Juggernaut rotating behind the Tinker, and all this stuff is so important. But yet again, they don't just get the gold from somewhere. They need to get some towers, they need to get some farm. And this Tinker and Gyrocopter should take all the farm on the lanes and in the woods, so it's really hard for these supports to actually find out how they're gonna pay for the wards. And there's the defensive ward I was talking about. They really need this to see some rotations coming in.
Also, just to point out, Lone Druid, he's got his Radiance recipe, he's got 3800. He now has his full Radiance at 17 minutes with Tranquils plus Phase Boots. The Juggernaut went back for a Midas after his Phase and Drums. The Lich has a point booster towards his Aghanims. The Viper is 500 gold away from a full Aghanims. The Rubik is sort of halfway to a 4-staff. And we have probably a third or maybe a quarter of a drum of endurance for this Gyrocopter.
Yes, this Gyrocopter really struggled, and basically the whole draft of Bronx was aiming towards the mid game, but they never were able to enter the mid game with that big pressure epic build up here.
Yeah, and it's really coming down. If we look at the gold advantage at 18 minutes, over 10,000 gold.
It's really massive already. 80 minutes in, you have 10,000 gold advantage, and then you have this Radiance Bear always being a danger now to the supports. If he finds someone solo, he's just certainly gonna kill someone.
Because even this Juggernaut right now, he's got a haste rune and he's got his level 2 ultimate up. He's just gonna run up to someone, ultimate, spin, dead, no chance.
Yes, that is true, and the problem right now for the Team Epic is really to just push into the March, and that's actually the only thing that keeps the Team Bronx alive right now. With that March, they just have to slowly chip away this tower, and it creates some space for the Gyrocopter. The Gyrocopter should actually go farm somewhere, because there's not much they can do about this tower falling, and this Tide is actually finding this Rubik.
First hit in Tangle! He's going to need to be grave. The jump is out from the Juggernaut. He's going through the Dazzle and the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter's going to end up falling to the spin. Radiance was able to pick off both the Tinker and the Dazzle. The Treant fell, I think, just to the Viper. And now they're just going to be able to take this tier 2 absolutely free of charge.
And that's a huge problem
now
here.
Now they're all going to get healed from the healing ward. And solid Treant armor as well.
Dire's middle tower
a 4-for-0 fight. They're going to end up losing 2 towers off the back of this.
And this trend just just hit level 6, used his overgrowth, but it just didn't make a difference. And this Viper is just diving to the T4 towers to almost pick off that trend.
And the trend's just dead.
There we have a beautiful Ravage hitting all 5 members of Epic right now, but there's just not the follow-up here.
And there's instant entangle, and now the spin through the heroes, and then they jump onto the gyrocopter. He's engraved up. Another entangle onto the Dazzle. Now they need to try and get the Tinker. Are we going to get first hit, second hit, third hit? No entangle even needed. The Radiant Spare being able to pick him off. Now they've just been racked. 16 to 6.
This will be called GG really soon, because they're looking at a 20k gold advantage right now, and there's just nothing that Bronze can oppose to them right now.
Yeah, we've got a Radiant Spare and another nearly 3,400 gold up onto this Lone Druid. 2,400 up onto the Viper. Full 4-star for the Rubik. We got 1,200 gold away from an Aghanim Scepter for this Lich. And on the Juggernaut, he's just going Diffusal Blade. Why not?
Yeah, if you have the money, why just hesitate? Just do it.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And now we have a lift before the overgrowth actually comes out, and this Viper is actually looking to die now.
Yeah, the Viper will finally die. He's going to be a nice pick off. Maybe an overextension here from Epic. The Rubik will be able to fall as well, but the Lone Druid's going to get out. So they were able to pick a double kill with the Tinker. He's got some much needed gold.
Yes, definitely.
It depends when it's going to sort of come into effect.
The problem right now
really needs to be... There needs to be so many stacks to this gyrocopter, but they just can't protect them.
Yes, exactly. The problem is that this Tinker has a lot of farm now, but still not as much as you look forward to starting this game. We have 0 farm on this gyrocopter. He has basically 1/3 of his BKB, which is at 22 minutes just not enough. And we always have that danger of someone pushing in somewhere, and that there might be a smoked gank behind them, and the only way to defend anything right now is just with the Tinker marches, because they cannot leave any position just to try and fight somewhere. They're so far behind with their team fight lineup that they cannot take a fight. That's just tells stories already.
Yeah, actually they are going to start running onto the Tidehunter. We haven't got a Entangle yet. 3rd hit, 4th hit, 5th hit. He's going to go for a Ravage. They're the Entangle hits, and now he's just taking so much damage, and because of the Diffusal he's got no mana left. There we go, with the Omni Slash. The Treant is dead even before he's even able to get off his ultimate, and now we have the Radiance, but actually the Dazzle actually able to heal himself, keep alive. But they just still lost the Treant, and no, Radiance Bear does not care. He is going to fall to the gyrocopter if he's able to pick him off, but they're so fast with those phase boots. Actually, and the kill does go 2-0-1, so that 300 gold was not able to be picked up by the gyrocopter. And now it's going to get resummoned. And we've got another 2,200 gold with the Hyperstone already on the bear. We can have that AC very soon, so these towers are going to melt even quicker.
Oh yeah, for sure, they will die so fast with that drums, with that Radiance Hyperstone bear doing job. And we have an overgrowth coming in there, but with the counter of the Fury, there's just not much happening in the follow-up there. They cannot do anything capitalizing on that ultimate. So they maybe get the second bear here.
The bear, and that's going to be... Actually, they might even not be able to kill him. No, they managed to kill off the rocket, so there's no defense, there's no sort of killing off the bear with that follow-up stun. And they were also pushing on this tier 3 tower with the Viper and the Lich. The Tinker does try and flink in, trying to see if he can get a rocket off, but there's nothing to no avail, and they're just going to keep farming up. They've got the healing ward now healing up the bear, so he's going to come back into this fight full health.
And that was just an overgrowth used for nothing, basically.
Yeah, and this tier 3 is just getting absolutely wrecked by this Juggernaut plus Spirit Bear.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, first hit entangle onto the Dazzle. And now a big telekinetic stun onto all of the Dire heroes. The Finger March is going to be enough to be able to pick off the Juggernaut. But now they want to get the Ravage off. The Lone Druid is going to TP out. I can't even find the words to describe the situation right now. They're splitting up all off. They will be able to pick off the Rubik, but Lich and Viper are still pushing in this bottom lane. The Tinker needs to get back and start marching up this lane. The Rubik is still fighting with this Tidehunter. Actually going to get away. A stolen rearm.
That's just brutal. If you chase a Rubik which is so low, and then you see he's just having a rearm and can lift and lift and lift. It's just this Tidehunter might just hit the mad button right now. After this first game, after this first laning phase against this lone druid, getting entangled all over the game, and then just that kind of stuff happening, his Ravage being kind of useless because there is just not a follow-up damage. This Gyrocopter sitting at no farm at all. It's just so hard for the Bronze to come back into this. And with that one Rex down and T3 top fallen already, it's gonna be a really big task for them to come back into this game.
Yeah, they've already got a Assault Cuirass on the bear. They're just gonna send an Invis bear into the base just to burn down the creeps. So there's no way for them for their creeps to start pushing out. They might try to see if they can grab onto the Tinker. We do have the Juggernaut here. Now, shift blink into the trees, so he's going to be fine just sending off these marchers into the creep wave.
Yeah, this Tinker is doing a pretty good job, but we have an initiation on the bottom lane. This Lich already dropping quite low, getting out to Change Frost. No, he's not. And with the call down, this Viper is slow to death, and they can actually just fight down this Viper, but they're taking so much time in order to just take it down. And they all went down to half or lower. Without that Dazzle, there would have been, of course, 2 death or something. And this takes so much time, and this takes just so much effort to kill 2 heroes as 5 heroes, and it just tells the story about what's happening in this game already.
Something amazing I'd like to point out about that fight, Invis Bear just stood behind them, burning them with radiance.
Yes, it's such a pain, and also giving that AC aura to your teammates, and of course the debuff to your enemies. It's a great bear micro right now. Looking at this player shows that he's really maximizing his capability with that bear. He knows exactly what to do and where to tank and where he can initiate and what he can do with his hero.
So we do have a blink dagger on this Juggernaut, so he's going to be aiming for the back line in these fights.
Yeah, probably because he's, of course, with his item build, he's sitting at 1.2k HP, and that's just basically in every other game that would be just food for every other carry. But of course, this Gyrocopter is not sitting at any damage at all. He still doesn't have finished his BKB yet, and it's gonna be a really hard situation. But we are looking at no BKB on the Viper, no BKB on the Jugger, of course, and we just have no BKBs at all. So if they execute a tight Ravage into Gyrocopter cooldown and his flag cannon, we can get some damage out, but then again there is this mech, there is AC up. It's just gonna be so hard.
Not just any AC, we have 2 ACs.
Yeah, that's true.
On the bear, obviously, because they're going to send the bear far away in the fight, and the Viper's is going to be left sort of in the back line, so they're going to have the minus armor and the AC aura everywhere in this fight. And you already can see the Juggernaut trying to position himself away from the other heroes, just trying to say, right, okay, quickly, when this kicks off, I'm going to be able to, I'm going to jump in the back line, I'm going to take out one of these spots, I might even take out the Gyro or the Tinker, because obviously they're going to try and get the Tidehunter and the Treant up first into the fight, and there we go, there is the Ravage, obviously no BKBs here, and the Juggernaut and Lone Druid have already left. The Viper's going to turn back into this fight, trying to see if he's able to do any damage. Not Ravage, stolen, the Anchor Smash stolen. And the Viper's just turning around, just dealing damage to the Gyrocopter, and if he's not careful, he might fall. So what if it wasn't for that lead? Was the lead just stolen by the Rubik? No, it was the Anchor
Egg is
Smash.
popped on the top lane. They're tipping in to get this Lone Druid, and if they could get that pick off, it would be really great. But this first hit entangle on the trend already falling quite low. And with the Tinker being in now, they might just be able to bring that bear down, but it takes 4 heroes of the Dire to just pull him down to nothing right now after that fight, and he's still got the Rex.
Yeah, he has got the Rex. The thing is, what we're looking at, we just had March stolen by this Rubik. He's really going for these steals. Obviously without the rearm, not the most ideal spell in the world. And Juggernaut, I have to say, these Juggernaut's not making any use of that Blink Dagger at all.
Not so far yet, yes.
He's been using it to farm.
Well, that's another way. Well, that's another way of making your farm more efficient. If you can blink between camps, then you don't need to pick anti-mage, of course.
Yeah, who needs an anti-mage when you could just buy an anti-mage for 2,000 gold?
Exactly. And then we have an initiation on the Lich.
This is not the place you want to be.
And with the Chain Frost.
Oh, we are going to get a Chain Frost. And now we're going to jump into the extra spell. Not using the Omni Slash, gonna go straight to the Gyrocopter. That's the 10-second BKB gone. Tinker is up on the high ground, sending off the march, but hey, the Gyrocopter fell, and that was a 10-second BKB. BKB does nothing against Omni Slash, my friend.
No, he was basically looking to not get disabled, I guess, but it's still gonna be so hard, and he got Realma again. I think this Rubik is just stealing random spells and having fun with himself. And this top range barracks will fall, but it's not that crucial. It's a crucial Rex, of course. But they really need to defend this bottom now. This is gonna be such an important fight. But with that Gyrocopter down, how are they gonna defend it?
Oh, and now they just go straight onto the Dazzle. They've got the damage to try and take him down. They use the Diffuser Slow to get him down. And he's going to fall. Meanwhile, the Lone Druid did take the bottom tier 1. They are still trying. The Ravage just go onto Lone Druid. The Bear is next to him, and the Bear's going to start dealing damage. They need to get us blind onto the heroes. The Viper was caught out and killed by the Tinker. The top racks did go down. Do we have the Omni Knight? We don't have the Omni Slash. And they're just going to back up, but they've just taken a Rax and now another tier 3.
Yeah, slowly.
Every tier 1 is standing.
Yes, that's the big part. You see? Oh, Lich just died. But you see, the kill score is 19 to 17, and they're still sitting 25k ahead.
The thing is, they're just throwing bodies at these racks, and it's working.
Yes, they're slowly chipping away whatever it comes there, and with the possibility of having well, that was a nice move by Lone Druid. With that possibility to just be everywhere with your heroes, the Bear just can, you know, run super fast somewhere. We have that dagger on Juggernaut. They're so mobile. They can be everywhere and surprise Team Bronze here. And with that one Rex standing, of course, this is gonna be the main pressure point now for Bronze or Epic to create. But with all that ultis down right now, 100 seconds cooldown on Ravage, 14 of course only on the Overgrowth, but that Ravage is so crucial to them, especially because the Radiant team doesn't value BKB right now.
Actually, I think we're getting a BKB up on the Bear. Already got the Ogre Club up on the Bear, 2200 gold up on Lone Druid, so will we have a BKB on the Spirit Bear, so the Ravage is not going to affect him anymore.
And yes, that's gonna be a big problem, but for now I think they're gonna try to focus down the Lone Druid himself, not his Bear, because of course if the bear, Lone Druid is down, the Bear is gone as well. But it's gonna be so hard getting him down because he's sitting on 2.2k HP, and this Gyrocopter still like has his BKB of course, but that's it. 31 minutes into this game, BKB.
Yeah.
It was not bad play by him, of course. It was super good denying by Epic, but it's just so hard for them to enter a team fight right now. With all that team fight ultis they have this magic damage, but physical damage wise, follow up damage wise, it's just not there.
Yeah, and it's just, this game is just, I have to say, well, I'm just gonna say it. I said about Slotard's Lone Druid.
Oh yeah, you did. And certainly it's proven right.
Yeah, and are we gonna see a Lone Druid respect that in the second game?
That's gonna be very interesting what they learn from this game, or if they're just gonna pull some more attention to this Lone Druid in game 2 if they pick Lone Druid.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. When you see a hero, like your opponent plays a hero which works very, very well, you have one or two choices: bat it or plan against it. But planning against it generally will entail from the early portion of the game, because you can't sort of go for one draft and then see a hero and search, oh crap, we've got to try and play against him, because unless you can sort of fit that into your original plan, you're going to have heroes which don't work 100% together. And in that case, in that situation, if they have to start trying to play up against the Lone Druid to begin with, Epic can play that into their favor, and they can sort of draft around it and then just bring out a super secret strat which is designed to beat a team which is designed to beat a Lone Druid.
Yes, totally.
So just mind games within mind games here.
There's this third way how you can approach this Lone Druid if it's picked again. You can just try to dominate the rest of his team. He's not gonna like carry carry his team entirely through. If you have such a gold lead that we're seeing right now, imagine this gyrocopter was super farmed and the rest of his team had no dagger on tight and, you know, nothing, no mech, because they are dominated and just this gyrocopter is not. I think they would not be able to come back with a super farmed gyrocopter right now if there is no items on the other teammates, of course. So if you dominate his team super good in the early game, I think then you can also have a spot at defeating this lone raid then.
Yeah, obviously what really helped him was just how far ahead his team were. If his team was getting absolutely trashed, he would have been in a much sort of grimmer situation.
Yes, but of course you adjust your item choice then, not going for the radiance and similar stuff, but it's still gonna be super hard if your team is down. But yeah, you have basically these 3 choices and you have to hit one. You cannot, you know, get attention to the lone raid while dominating this team. It's not gonna work. So basically you have to think now before the next draft starts, if they get lone raid again, what we're gonna do about it, because you need a lot of time to think about getting into the mindset of what we're gonna do against a lone raid that farmed. It was a safe lane lone raid, of course he's gonna get his farm eventually, but it's gonna be super hard to just, you know, cope with him. So this Viper, is he coming back? Estimated time of arrival boots yet. Okay. We have this courier flying out right now for, I think Tinker it is. I think Tinker has a full hex. Yeah, that might be huge.
Oh really? He's got full hex? Oh blimey. He's got full hex plus another sort of 1,000 gold on top of that.
Yes, he doesn't have a buyback right now, I think, if he buys that hex, but what are their chances right now? What are the odds? They cannot really think about, yeah, we need some buybacks and this and that. I think that's now, it's gonna be an all-in move and they have to win a team fight and maybe even another team fight after that. And if they win two team fights now in a row, they can look into pushing their first T1 tower, which is retarded to say, of course, after the 31-minute mark, but they need some towers, definitely. So what else do we have? Let me check. Top 3 net worth is going off into Team Epic, of course, with that Lone Raid, the Juggernaut and the Viper. The 3 cores just having a lot of farm, and the only one who can barely keep up with that is the Tinker, of course. But then we have a breakdown of 5k for that Gyrocopter. He's sitting at almost 8k net worth, 31 minutes in. You really do not want that as your carry in the team. This Juggernaut is also sitting on 3.8k gold right now. He's gonna look into maybe even finishing a Butterfly or yeah, Vladimir's. Let's see what he's going for. Yeah, talking about this tide being fed up again.
I've just been reading it and obviously I've got to interject at some point.
10 minutes it is, right?
Okay then, Epic are happy to go at this point.
Okay, then just, yeah. Yeah, they just have to know that if they have problems right now, it's not gonna be like, oh yeah, reload or something. It's their choice to go on now, and if they make a misstep now with that, it's their own struggle then.
Yeah, so this game just got a lot more interesting. The thing is, you look at the hero of Viper. It's not a lone druid. It's not anything like that. It is microable. Someone like the Lich is able to be able to do this.
Yes, he can basically just you know, autocast his slow, and with that leash you just have to keep up the frost armor and use your chain frost at certain times, and then you can just play with that Viper, and you maybe find yourselves out of position, of course, with that leash moving somewhere into them.
Yeah. The thing is, you can also cast the ice armor, and you can just throw out your chain frost at the beginning. He's already got an Aghanim scepter, so you just throw that off, and then okay, maybe I'll get a Q off before that, and then just control Viper.
Right now we only have a buyback on this Juggernaut and this Tide, so this Tide might just jump in, try to get focused down, you know, drag out some skills, buyback TP in Dagger Tide. Ulti. That would be a great move, of course, but then again there's so much that this Radiant team can offer right now that it doesn't even really matter if this Tidehunter eats a lot of spells. And this Juggernaut's just farming the entire jungle all the time, like
he's just doing it so effectively. Obviously he's got such high movement speed, he's just gonna say, right, I have to say, he is playing anti-mage right now.
Yes, he totally is. And he's feeling comfortable with that. Oh, we have an overgrowth onto that Viper.
The train is almost dead. The grave is wasted onto the tree where it's lone druid. There hasn't used the BKB yet. Now it's starting to hit away. He needs to get entangled onto the gyrocopter. Flat cannon was stolen by, flat cannon, rocket barrage was stolen by the Rubik, but now we get the Omnislash through the rest of the heroes. Now we see the Hex onto the Juggernaut, but the Lone Druid Bear has already got his 2 kills, and then why bother? Oh, they use the Fusel Blade to slow down the Tidehunter, and this is going to be mega creep.
And this is GG. Yeah. I think that team fight was just hesitation by the Gyrocopter. He didn't know, do we go in, do we fight? And then the Ravage came out and he wasn't so sure about what's happening right now. His cooldown was way too late there, and he didn't hit a single hero with that cooldown, and that's a lot of damage that they're missing, of course.
Yeah. So we are going to go jump straight into the second game, obviously. 1-up towards Epic. Jokes coming from Zapkio. But we are going to quickly mute everything. We're going to go into a pause screen. Well, we are going to pause the, like, sort of ourselves and load up the next game. But we will be back with you shortly.